What's going on, motorsports fans? This is Jared here with the Bearded Garagistas, and today I'm very excited to bring on a guest today. You know him as Ovi. You've seen him race IRRA, a lot of local cash days and things like that. He runs a 240 platform, and we're going to talk to him right after this. All right, brother. Welcome to the show, my guy.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for inviting me.
I know I've had on a few people that you know, a couple of good buddies of yours, and they said that you were the next person that I had to bring on, and I'm very excited to have you here. Heard your name a lot, especially in the 240 crowd. So I know that your current platform, obviously the Nissan 240. Tell us a little bit about that car. When you got it, what was the original build that you had in it, and the progression to where it is now?
Man, the 40 was actually my daily driver for 2 years. All original. I'm the second owner. I bought it from the original owner. It was mint, power corded rims. That old guy took care of that thing like it was his son. I promise. And there I go, and I'm like, okay, let's make it faster. And I did a KAT, original motor turbo,
Okay.
85. Made like 300 horsepower and about 10 psi. It was fun, but back in the day, 300 horsepower in a 240. It's pretty decent. You're beating all the neo cars and whatnot. I had a blast. I'd say that's probably one of my favorite builds that I've done because I still have power steering, AC. I would drive it to FL2K and back, no problem at all.
Wow,
it was great. Yeah, it was great. And then my first car was a Mustang GT at 2001. 40,000 miles. I bought it cash myself. Worked hard for it, and then it got stolen.
Oh no.
Yeah, man. So I always liked the V8, concept, muscle cars and whatnot. So I'm like, one day I want to put a V8 in this car. So, I was young. I didn't have too much capital and whatnot. So I found this 5.0 pushrod motor. Back in the day, it's like a Fox body motor. And we put it in the 40.
Right.
With a T5 5-speed,
Okay.
200 shot of nitrous. It boogied. It was a pretty decent car. It hooked well from the hole. I ended up switching out for a Turbo 350 tranny. And mostly an 8th-mile car, just a lot of dig racing every weekend.
Hell yeah. So is that what you still got in it? What's it running now?
Well, a couple of years ago, I took the motor out, and then I went LS. I put an LS on it. I went to my buddy, got the performance. He guided me through the build and whatnot. Told him I wanted to go all out, but my wife got pregnant at that time, so I had to settle for something affordable. So I ended up just building a 6.0. Nothing, stock 6.0, Porsche bottom end, nothing stock heads, just a cam, eBay intake.
Man.
I put it's nothing crazy, man. And we started the IRA with that build.
So, you started the IRA. That took you all the way to the roll racing ranks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That took me to the IRA. And then I think I started that with like a 75 shot of nitrous. And then me and Sinclair, we kept, staying next to each other through the whole event. And he'll go up a little bit on power, and then I'll give a little bit more nitrous. And we'll stay next to each other the whole time.
Right.
But he was still trying to figure out his car.
Right.
And but yeah, his car moves, man. And I don't know if you've seen it now. It sounds amazing too.
I haven't seen it run yet. Since he rebuilt it after the mishap and everything like that, I haven't seen it run.
He posted a couple videos, like the cams. Sounds really nice.
It should be interesting. I think IRA this year is gonna be really interesting to see what people, because now people have had the time, right? 2020 was a little bit of a break.
Oh.
Now people have had the time to kind of get themselves together, get their cars prepared, know what they're getting themselves into. So I am excited to go back and see what people are running, what platforms have changed, what classes they've jumped to, and things like that.
Well, I did look at the list that they sent me. There's a lot of people in C2. A lot. The majority of people are in C2.
Yeah.
So that tells you right there, 155 mile an hour cap. That's some pretty serious cars.
Sure.
So, for everybody to jump up there like that, and the majority of the people are there. So that says a lot.
Yeah, for sure. What, are you in that category? You're in the C2 class?
No, this couple months ago, I decided to take the whole car apart. Wanted to get a little bit more serious with it. Car started spinning at high mile an hour, so I was like, okay, my wife's like, okay, you need a cage, now.
Yeah.
So, I bought myself a welder. My wife helped me get the welder, and I've been doing the cage on my car. I took everything apart. I took advantage of everything, and refreshing the motor up. I'm gonna change the turbo setup on it. Yeah, I switched from nitrous to turbo now. So I'm gonna go twins. See how I figure I do a lot of dig racing, but the majority of the racing I'm doing right now is road racing because there's not a lot of digs going on.
Right.
So, but I still wanted to build something that will be okay with in digs and will have good response rolling.
All right, that's fair enough. Now, let me ask you a question. I know you said you went LS and you kind of got away from what you were doing before. Is there a reason why you didn't go with the RB platform? Is there a reason why like you decided you just wanted the ease of an LS? Is that something that kind of drew you to it?
I didn't back then when I was sitting down and doing all the math that I was doing, just scouting for RB parts, it's so hard, And quite frankly, I don't know that motor too well, so I would have to rely on somebody else, And the LS, man, I bought my motor for $600, junkyard.
There you go.
Off the junkyard. I refreshed it because I had it out already, but it was running. I didn't even have to touch it. Which, it comes down right now to, my best friend Horacio. He was in your show.
Yes, he was.
Car is still running. Junkyard 4.8, man.
And he works his. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's told me some stories.
Let me tell you, man. that thing. I bought him studs on the head gasket last Christmas because I felt bad for the motor. I was like, dude, put this on, man. Like, poor thing. But bro, like that, hey, that it will stay right next to me, So that thing was moving for what it was. $400 for a bone stock.
Unreal. If you haven't listened to the Horacio episode, go back and take a listen and listen to some of the stories that guy's got, because it's amazing how he's still running the same engine. He literally is. He said he had another engine sitting in his house.
Yeah,
he's trying to blow the one up in the car, but he can't blow it up.
So we got together actually a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna make the IRA this season. I got my whole car apart. It's literally gutted to the T. Because I'm doing the cage and all. I don't know when how I'm gonna finish this on time. I want to do it right. I want to take some time on it. So I'm like, let's both of us. And I still have my license from 2020 that nobody was able to race, so it transferred over. I'm like, let's just both go in your car. And he's like, well, that sounds like a great idea. So I registered me and him with his car, so we'll be there this Saturday. If he's there, I'll be there. If not, then I'll be there with his car if he can't make it. So yeah, we're gonna try to turn it up, see what the 4A can do.
Hell yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be there this weekend. I don't know. I think this episode will probably come out before that race, but they got me working this weekend, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna have to miss the first race, which I'm kind of pissed off. If I work early, I might try to scoot up there after work, but we'll see what happens. I wanted to ask you, what was switching over to the LS platform? I want to get back to that real quick. What was the if you had to kind of pass off some knowledge, is there any was there a key thing that you learned that you needed this one part to put an LS in a 240, or it was a seamless plug and go?
For anybody that's trying to do it, the easiest route. It really all depends the kind of person that you are. I don't know if you want power steering, AC, all this luxury stuff. But if you're trying to build a basic, straight car / race car that you don't need AC and whatnot on it, standalone is the way to go all day. Because the good thing about the 40s is the chassis harness is completely different from the motor harness. You know what I'm saying? So you could take the motor out and put an LS in it with a standalone, and nothing else changes. You still have lights, you still have everything else. All you gotta do is just wire up the necessity for your motor, which is your fans, fuel pump, and your little gauges and whatnot, on the computer. But the computer is literally 3 wires. You got your ignition, you have your battery, and your ground. That's basic. Like, it's that simple.
Wow, that's a lot easier than I think most cars would be.
and the harness is plug and play. I got it from UPS and I plugged it in about 15 minutes. Started the car. It comes, yeah, it comes with like a base tune and whatnot. So, and it's super simple to tune. I have Eggard from DSM Lights. He helps me with my tuning.
Okay.
He backs me up a lot on that. Always there for me. But yeah, man, just standard computer is a must do. A must do.
All right. So now we're looking at a twin turbo setup. Are these eBay turbos, or what are we doing now? Or is that a secret we can't tell anybody?
Well, I tested this famous GT45 turbo that's been going around on YouTube. Everybody's like, "Oh, this turbo works and whatnot." But I put it on the car a couple months ago, last year actually, and I took it up. I maxed out the turbo, about 16, 15 pounds. Car made almost 700 with almost 900 pounds of torque.
Wow.
And but it was too much back pressure though. The turbo works. For a 4.8 or for a 6-cylinder or a high compression 4-cylinder, it's a great turbo. It'll get you up in the 600-700 range.
Okay.
For $150, it's not bad at all.
Sure.
Whatsoever. But I'm going twins now. I'm looking at maybe VS Racing, something like that. Unless I find like a good deal on some precisions or something.
All right.
VS or on 3. I usually like those. They're affordable and they work.
Once we get the twin turbos going, what do you think the horsepower range is going to be? Where are we going to be at?
If I change my tranny before then, I'm gonna go for the 1,000.
Ooh.
If I keep my transmission, I'll probably limit it at about 8, 9.
Don't want to get too crazy and kill the tranny.
Yeah, the tranny is fully built, but it'll be pushing the shit out of it. It'll be like do one pass, park it, don't look at it for an hour.
That's rough. You don't want to ever do that. If you're going to do a pass, you want to keep it going all night.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe I'll do with a power glide. So gotta change some gears in the back. I can't rev that high. I'm only like a 70, 200, 75 max.
All right.
So I gotta test a mile an hour.
Well, it's good to see you're getting there. I like to hear, and I like to see the progression of the racers. I like to see how nobody really seems to be settled with what they have. They always want to go out and get bigger, faster, more. And for people who have done it with, on one single platform, I know you've been doing it with the 40 for a while, so I like to see that. Now, if I had to ask you, what got you into motorsports? Was this like a family thing? I would say most of our guests would always say like, oh, my dad or somebody in my family, my uncle in my family brought me into it. What got you into it?
Man, I am first generation racer.
Ooh, my first one.
Yeah, bro. I came from Cuba when I was 6 years old. None of my family, raced or nothing like that. They weren't focusing on any of that. Bro, honestly, what got me into this was, one day one of my friends invited me to go to Oki. Let's go hang out. And I went to hang out, man, and just the culture and what I saw, I really enjoyed it. Plus, if I have to say somebody, I would say my grandpa maybe. Back in Cuba, he had one of those classic cars. I forgot what he had, honestly. One of those old 1950s classic cars, and he treasured that thing like a baby.
I hear those older cars in Cuba are really treasured.
Yeah, just I guess me being around it, I really like cars and driving and whatnot. That I always loved cars. I guess because of that. But they never raced or anything like that. It was just more like a love towards the vehicle, type thing. So when I went to Oki and I saw all that, I'm like, nah, this is cool. I want to build my own stuff. So when I bought the Mustang, yeah, man, I bought an 01 Mustang GT, nothing crazy, just a 2 valve. I was 18, it was pretty decent for me. And then I did a Mach 1 swap on it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine.
You were not messing around.
Well, I had a buddy of mine that he was getting rid of his car, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy everything off of you. So I bought his stuff, and I literally swapped everything over. And then it got stolen after that. Jesus. I'm like, okay, this sucks. And then I bought a Honda.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man.
I was in a Honda again for a couple of years.
Don't say that too loud. Your Nissan buddies might get a little upset.
Yeah, I know.
So how did what'd you get in the Honda field?
I bought a 2000 EK 4-door.
Okay.
No, It's single jam, nothing crazy. D series. That thing was stupid slow. Like, holy crap, man! It was 5 speed and everything, but it was so slow. So I bought this turbo kit off a friend of mine's for $500.
Okay.
And I've never done a turbo kit. I don't even knew how that thing worked. But I took it to the backyard and I took it apart, and with a little bit of research and calling some friends, I was able to put it together. And then it will go into boost, but I guess I put the vacuum line incorrectly on the wastegate, so
Okay.
we'll never get that pressure. So I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing boost, but it's just not like I don't feel it. It's just slow. What the hell? Well, it was like that for 6 months, and then one day my friend's like, "That's not where that goes," and he goes and changes it. And then I step on the car. It was like a completely different car. It was like spinning, torque steering and all this shit. I'm like, yo, what the hell?
Sometimes you got to learn the hard way, man.
Yeah.
Thank God your friend came over.
Yeah, for real. And I dailied that for 3 years, man. AC, power steering. It was a pretty nice car, to be honest with you. I got it for $1,000. I sold it for almost $4,000.
Can't beat that. You can't beat that. Especially there's a lot of Hondas out there that are like that, where people will go ahead and pick them up for real cheap, maybe make 1 or 2 changes and go ahead and swap it and flip it and get something else. I mean, that's one of the good things about the Honda game, especially for the if you don't got a lot of money, floating around, and you don't want to, you might have a lot of money, but you don't want to spend a lot of money on a car. You kind of want something that can be competitive, you could have fun in, but you don't want to go crazy with. That's the Honda game, man.
Yeah, I mean, after they stole my car, I didn't have any money left, basically. So I'm like, okay, this is what I could afford. This is what I could do. So that's what I went with, and it was great. I ended up blowing that motor. Yeah, I blew it up, an I-75, and then we swapped in another motor. I took the turbo out because it was still my daily. So I'm like, okay, I can't be dealing with this too much. I ended up selling the turbo kit for like $900, I think it was.
Jeez, more than you got it for.
Exactly. Made $400 out of that, and then I sold the car for like $3,500, I think it was.
Damn, yeah. Ovi the businessman.
Wow, motor, man. I'll say more lucky than anything, man. That's all the business.
So what'd you have after the Honda?
After the Honda, I did a job, and the guy paid me with a Volkswagen turbo diesel.
Get out of here.
Yeah, 2001. That thing was so slow. But it did 56 miles per gallon.
Really?
Yes, and it sounded like an F-350. It was great. It was great, man. I really liked that car. Other than that, it was kind of sluggish, but it got me everywhere.
Dude, you can't beat 56 miles to the gallon.
I drove that thing everywhere, man. Everywhere. And then that's when I got the 40. I'm like, okay, I got a daily now. So, actually, I had a Del Sol before that, but I gave it to my wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
those are quick little cars if you work them right.
Yeah,
that's a fun little car as a Del Sol.
After the Honda, after the Civic, I got in a Sentra, a little Nissan Sentra, a 92, and then they traded me the Del Sol for that one, and then I gave that one to my wife, and I got the Volkswagen.
All right. It's funny is my buddy, when I was in the military, when I first went out to Hawaii, he had a Nissan Sentra. He had like the SR one, the sport one or whatever.
The SER,
yeah, the SER. And he was putting so much money into that. And then one day, he comes into the tack room, and he's like, "Man, I got to get rid of this thing. It's horrible." I was like, "All right, bro, what are you gonna do, man?" Literally the next day, he shows up with a Mazda hatchback, the Speed 3. And,
wow.
And he worked the crap out of that thing. Before we left the island, that thing was hauling ass. I have no idea what he did with it. I got to ask him what he did with it. But that car was fast. I was actually impressed at how fast he was able to make that Mazda. Because don't get me wrong, the Speed 3, it's got a little quickness to it. You could build them. I've seen people build them, but I haven't seen anybody put the work in that he did. He did it right.
It's hard to see an actual good one.
Right.
You see a handful, but nothing too like, wow, that's impressive.
For sure. So I know you said you're doing the IRA, you're taking this year off. Hopefully twin turbos coming back with the Grand. I would love to see you put the new tranny in. That'd be awesome. And you said before you did some cash days here and there, or you're interested and you watch the show and things like that. Is that a goal? Is that something you want to do? How many have you done in the past?
I've done like 2 or 3. But usually back then we'll just basically meet up at BFE. It's a spot that we have down south,
Sure.
and we'll meet up every weekend, man. We'll have a group chat, private invites. We'll go there. You bet your money or whatnot, and just have fun and race. We'll prep the street, and we'll flag it with a flashlight, 8th mile. And the regular rules. No jumping, crossing lanes and whatnot. But I haven't done that, man, in so many. It's been a while, bro. It's been a long time because a lot of people the streets are getting heated, so they're not going out as much as before.
Is this
And I
because of?
understand
Is
that,
it because of the? Is this like a police thing, or the people who are going out there are not the right people anymore?
I will say there's a mixture of both.
Really?
It's a mix of both. It's definitely the police, but also we have a lot of youngsters that go there and they post it up online and whatnot, and you in a matter of an hour you have the police there showing up, because I guess somebody reported it or somebody saw it through social media. I don't know.
Right.
But back then there was no social media. It was private invites. We'll get there. We'll race. We'll get out. Simple as that. Sometimes we even stay there till 5 in the morning racing. All about
That's
a handful of
crazy.
us.
It's not like that much anymore. I mean, I think definitely social media is killing that scene. I mean, I was always a fan of bringing everything to the track. I know there's a place for the street racing. I get it. I understand why there is. I think it's just, for me, it's a little sketchy. Something goes wrong out there and it's kind of tough. So I wouldn't say that I'm like the first person to condone it, but I understand the reason why. And I understand, there's a place for it and people still do it and they will continue to do it. So I would say that, but cash days is big. People, throwing their own little things like that. I would say, where do you see your future going? I know IRRA, and I know it's been growing, and they've been getting a lot more racers in there. And you said you also do some digs. Are we going to any of the FL2K? Are we going to any of those bigger races?
Well, I actually went to FL2K last year, and but I had a lot of issues before I went. I was really trying to just force it. I had rented the place and everything to go. But it just didn't. The car was just fighting me, man, the whole entire time. Literally, it was little stupid things here and there, and when I got up there, I was just like, I fixed something that was wrong with it. I think it was the radiator hose, which was old already. Like, it had bursted. It bursted at 140, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah. So again, it's street, it's sketchy. So I fixed that. I took it around over there just to cruise, make sure the car was good. My wife calls. She's like, "Hey, man, can you get me some Starbucks?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I go to Starbucks in the 240, and then in the drive-through, the for some reason, the heads that I machined them with, in a Hialeah machine shop last year through the IRA. The problem is, I was in the IRA last year, and you only have 3-4 weeks to get things done.
Yeah.
And any real good machine shop, they're always backed up a month or two in advance.
Sure.
I didn't have the time, so I had to go to the first machine shop I found, and I guess they did something with the valve seats that they weren't supposed to, and they actually bursted. Like, the valve didn't fall, nothing, just the valve seat gave up, and it just bursted inside the chamber. But luckily, it only messed up the piston and the head. So I was able to get one piston, and I bought a used pair of heads for another $200. So
not too bad. Could have been worse.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse. So we're still back in business. I am going to change some things in the motor. I did get a turbo cam, but I was still running the nitrous cam before with the turbo. So there was a bit of lag there. Now there's no more lag, and I'm going to change. I'm looking into changing my intake. I'm gonna reroute my entire exhaust system. Now I have the TIG welder. I'm gonna make it nice, presentable. Maybe an air to water instead of the air to air.
All right, not bad. What was the most difficult part of this current platform, this current build? Putting an LS and a 240 and either nitrous or turbo. What was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
Man, for me, at least for me, uh, it depends. So, in with the NA build, the headers, oh my god, just trying to get around that steering column is just a pain in the ass. It's super bad. And then, you got to be careful when you buy a certain brand for motor mounts and whatnot, and then a different brand for headers. They will not match. So I had to heat these things up and bang them to make them fit, you know? And then the 240 under there, it's only meant for one exhaust, So, but, I'm running a 200 plus shot of nitrous. I didn't want to restrict the exhaust too much either, since I already banged the headers, So
Your wife comes in the garage and you're like, you just give her that face, like, leave me alone.
Bro, those headers were so hard that I couldn't bang them. I had to take them to a machine shop, and they heated it with a torch and they squeezed it with some machine that they had there, and that's how I was able to fit my headers. Yeah, I think turbo kit was a lot easier. Yep, and mind you, headers that I spent over $500 for.
Bro, you and Horacio are on another level, bro.
Man, you gotta get shit done.
You gotta get shit done.
Yeah, it's I every weekend, I go out there to my car and I look at it and it's all stripped. I took the harness, all the chassis harness, I took it all apart. Literally, I threw everything away. The car is bare. It has no wires, no nothing. I'm gonna rewire everything from scratch. So I get out there and I'm like, there's so much work to be done.
Yeah.
So you just gotta tackle one thing at a time, try to find solutions and whatnot. That's just how it goes. When I was racing Sinclair last season, my converter came loose before the race, and it was the final race too of that of that day. It was the final, so it was me and Sinclair, and my car was going clack 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 clack. I thought it was Ron. I'm like, well, fuck, damn. I guess it is what it is.
If it's gonna blow up, just blow up. Go ahead.
Since like, hey man, you shouldn't risk it, bro. The car, you might break it, and I'm like, well, it's broken already, so fuck it.
Let's send it.
Let's send it. Let's see what happens. I think that race, I got him by an inch, man.
He had to be mad.
He was so mad. I mean, I don't know what happened with my car. Like the nitrous turned off, then it came back on, and then at the same time he didn't want to break out, so he slowed down at the end.
Oh,
and right at that moment, I just
get you every time. Get you every time.
Yeah, Corey was mad too, man. When he went under the mile an hour, I feel bad for him, man. But I guess that has to do with cash days. The rules are rules, man. And I'll bring that out any day.
Yeah, he said he learned the hard way how to not break out below the breakout line. I will say, I needed to ask you this. When we had Horacio on, he talked about how you and him would swap parts. Like if he needed a part, you give it to him.
Oh yeah. Well, he's giving me his car this weekend.
Right, I get it, but like I don't understand because like I've never met a guy, anybody who would be like, oh, it's probably going to slow me down a little bit, but here, go ahead and take this part. How?
Right, that's just how we work, man. We work for FPO night shift, and we just grew this bond. Every single day after work, he had a little shop. Not a shop, it's just a warehouse and whatnot that we'll work in the cars. That's where we kept our stuff, our toys. And we'll just go there 4 or 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning sometimes, and just work on our cars. And he'll go out there with the cash days with me. He blew up his car in the cash days, actually. He still ran that thing blown up.
Yeah, it's what he's nuts, bro.
It's just how we are. I'm like that. You go ask Sin too. When Sin was having problems at the track last season, I will help him with whatever I can. I was there trying to figure out his car, try to help him to the very last 10 minutes of the call at 8 o'clock. I was there helping him, me and my buddies. That's just who I am. That's how I was raised. Yeah, I'm very competitive, but I don't like to. I would say I don't like to see other people. We all make sacrifices, man, to go to the track. With a family or time, money, whatever the case is, and it just sucks to go out there and then not be able to participate just because something went bad and I could help with.
So for what you're saying, if I can clarify or if I can, really understand. So for you, it's more the camaraderie and the actual race. It's not the winning that really gets you
Yes,
going. You'd rather
yeah,
have you'd rather have the friends, the family, everybody around having a good time, and you'd rather see other people actually be able to race rather than you just go and lift the trophy because somebody couldn't field the car.
yeah, all day. I think that's what it does. I just having my family on the side, my friends. When you go to school, I even bring these little sandwiches to the track, man. I feed everybody. You know, it's just who I am. It's how I was built, I guess. I mean, if I win, it's a bonus. I guess it's just great. You know. Also, what I really like is the fact that we're a bunch of basically nobodies just out there having fun. And just to see our cars keep up with just high end cars, it makes people proud.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that I do enjoy seeing the guys that have worked on theirs, wrenched their own stuff in like their own backyard with a couple of buddies over a couple of beers. I like seeing them
Hmm.
guys go up against those big cars that the guys got a little bit more money and time put into it, and it's still a really good race. I've always been a fan of the door to door action, and I'm a Jet fan, so I mean I got the underdog feel to it too. I like seeing the underdogs come up and win and win the races. But that's
Yeah.
interesting. When do you think you'll be back? I know you said you're going to probably miss this season. How long until
Um.
that car's up and running?
Well, I wanted to finish my cage this weekend, but the IRA starts, so I'm gonna have to postpone that to maybe next month. Um. I want to have my cage in, wired up, and the motor back in. At least I would say by June or May latest, and then I want to work on my turbo kit the rest of the year. That's where the most expensive parts goes in. With the turbos and the intercooler and all that stuff. I gotta get new injectors to get me up to where I want to now. Maybe another fuel pump. So that's where all the really heavy money, costly parts go. So I'm gonna leave that for the end of the year. And but I already have the cage. I already have the parts for the motor. The motor's already at Gaitas. Um, and the rewiring, I do the rewiring myself. I just gotta get some wire, which is not a big deal. So yeah, I would say hopefully by the end of this year, latest, my car should be running. I
So
would like to make it to FL2K.
so more for you. It's like take the time, do it right, spend less money because you're actually doing it right instead of trying to throw something together and then accidentally blowing something up and then having to spend more money in the end.
I think this is the last time that I'm gonna really go for to build the car. So I want to build it one last time, one good time. If it blows up, it's just maintenance. I'll fix it again and whatnot. But upgrading wise, I think this is where it's gonna probably stop. After I get to that 1K plus or whatever.
Sticking with the 240, like once you hit that, I know everybody says, "Oh, this is my goal," and when I get to my goal, I'm gonna be done. But are you gonna? Do you feel like you'll get to your goal and then eventually you'll be like, you know what? Let me start something over new.
I maybe I'll start something new, but no, the 40 is staying with the family. It's getting passed down to my son. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it when he grows up. But yeah. So I don't come from a wealthy family, man. So this is basically the only thing I could actually pass down to my kid. That I built myself, handmade. That he could probably remember his pops from. Hopefully, I'm still alive by then or not. So that's my plan. At least he could have something from me.
I
If he
gotta
wants to sell it, that's on him.
I gotta say, now that I got my own baby boy, I feel like I understand that a lot more. I feel like if you can pass something along to the next generation, your son can remember you by, especially something like that, something you put so much time, effort, pride in. Hopefully, wins you some races when you finally finish that build. That's impressive. I like to hear that.
Yeah, that's so it's the best I could do, man. I can't. I'm not a millionaire. I can't buy him all this stuff, but I could give him a car, and if he wants to go race on it, he can.
There you
That's for
go.
sure.
There you go. Do you have any sponsors? Anybody help you along besides the buddies?
I don't have any sponsors, man. I've been doing this myself all along. I do have Kata. Kata Performance does help me out a lot. With the motor build and anything that I need, he's always there for me. DSM Lights also helps me out. With whatever he can. With the tuning. I got no sponsors, but it's just friends that are willing to help me and put faith in me. So you know, they see the potential of the car, man. It's just the time and money that it needs. But I could, you know, I won it last year. I won the IRA last year, not because I was the fastest. I would say because I was the most consistent,
There you
and
go.
I guess the most prepared.
A lot of time it's not. It's a lot of time it's not the fastest. A lot of time it's, you know, if you put the work in and you bring the same package to the track, the right package to the track, and you're consistent with your driving, a lot of the times that's the car that comes out on top.
I had dialed that. I think I dialed the car into. I was in the 140 class. I dialed it into 139.8.
Damn.
Consistently, it was 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, just around there all the time. I think I broke out once the entire season, and I went over 140 once, and that was against Sinclair when he actually got his car running how he wanted. You know, he did 155-mile-an-hour pass that time. And I had him half track, and then he just swung right next to me, you know, and then he got me at the end.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sinclair at the big end is something you got to be careful because
I pushed the car a little too much, and then that's why I passed.
Yep.
Because I saw him pass me, I'm like, oh, you know.
I'm telling you, with him, it's I don't know what it is about the car. I don't know if it's the way he sets it up or the way he drives it. But if you're usually, I will say usually, if you're door to door with him at halfway, you got a problem. Because I don't know what happens at the back end of that track. The last eighth, that car just comes alive, and it just pulls him all the way to the finish line. So I've seen him embarrass a lot of people at the big end of the track, and I would believe that this new build is probably going to be the exact same way.
Oh yeah, probably even better. I mean, I don't see how. Yeah, he's always upgrading his stuff, you know. So, but I'll tell you what, man. We're gonna crank up this 4.8. Okay. Until that,
well, he's still got the other engine hanging out. So I mean, if you blow it up, who cares?
And let me tell you, even if I have to put my motor in this thing, I don't care. It's gonna make it. It's gonna get there. You know.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Like, I got parts here for days, and my car don't need them right now at all. I got 2 discs. I got axles here, all types of axles. You know, I got my tranny there. He can blow up whatever he wants. I got it.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy that yes, you're taking the year off, and yes, you're building your car bigger and better. But I'm very happy that you're still coming out and you're still going to be a part of IRA and still getting out there and finding a way to get to the track to win. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, you gotta be part, man. You gotta commit. You gotta show these youngsters that, you know, it's all about commitment. And I'm just trying to keep the motorsports alive. You know, 2020 was a big hit. You know, nobody went out, nobody had fun. There was no racing whatsoever. So I think this is a good way to get everybody motivated, and I believe the IRA is actually growing quite a bit.
Hell yeah! So that's all the questions I had for you on this run. I know by the end of this year, we're going to have to probably run this back, and I'm going to have to ask you how this, you guys are driving together in the same, you know, with the same car, how that's going to work. But did you have anything else you wanted to throw out there?
No, just thank you to all my friends that, you know, come and help me out on these hot summer days and sweating and, you know, breaking the knuckles and whatnot. And just thank you to everybody that's ever lent me a hand with my car or in anything in general. And hope to see you guys out there.
Hell yeah. I mean, again, I'm definitely going to get out there. I know I might miss this weekend. I'm going to probably try to get out there late if I can. But yeah, I can't wait to see you guys on the track and see you at the track and, you know, finally see everybody again face to face. It's tough when you're sitting at home for the whole year with COVID and everybody's in lockdown and you kind of just twiddling your thumbs and, you know, nobody's been able to go do anything. So definitely going to be a good outlet. I really can't wait for all the racing and the seasons to start, even professional. We got a couple of motorsports podcasts coming out right around the same time as this one. So just really excited. I'm thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you taking time out of your evening to come on here and share some of your story and share the build. And if anything, it's gotten me even more excited to see the twin turbo build because just, you know, an LS with a twin turbo and a 40 from a roll. It's getting 1,000 horsepower. I'm excited. I don't know if anybody else is excited, but I'm stoked. I'm ready to go.
I'm excited too. Let me tell you, I ripped off almost 200 pounds of weight out of that thing just in wires and shit that it need.
Hell yeah.
So I'm trying to make it a little lighter too.
Oh, this is going to be fat. I can't wait then. This is going to be fabulous. If you like the show, go ahead and like and subscribe. I really thank you, Ovi, for coming on. beardedgaragistas.com is always live, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.